Need Pokemon Go PvP coaching? Well, I'm on Metafy, so just click the link in the video description. It'll take you right to my page. What's up, guys? We got the first team-based gameplay video of Season 10. Very excited to kick off Remix Cup with a team that I've been thinking about conceptually for quite a while now. But first, huge shout out to my Patreon supporters. Could not be doing this without you guys. But yeah, let's get right into this gameplay video. This team, conceptually, I've been thinking about using Trevenant as a fighting counter to pair with something like Bastiodon or Probopass in Great League, or even stuff like Empoleon in Ultra League. But there's always two problems with that. Two big issues, those being Obscune and Scrafty, present in both Great League and Ultra League. Very heavily core breaking Trevenant plus something weak to fighting. But luckily this time in Remix Cup, both of those Pokemon are banned. So, very exciting that Trevenant can now be used as that fighting type counter. We've got Trevenant in the lead here, and the core here, Trevenant Probopass, is very solid. I don't think people consider Probopass at all during team building. There's a ton of games you'll watch me win here where Probopass is good versus 2 or even 3 of their Pokemon. It just seems very, very strong, especially with everyone trying out the new hot Pokemon, right? Noctowl and Machamp getting some play in Remix, and Probopass just destroys both of them. Alongside that, we've got Drapion as the safe swap here. Drapion, I think, performs best in the safe swap position when it is given the ability to draw out opposing fighting types. Generally from the fighting types resisting Crunch, and that being its main move. I think they're generally safe to just shield once and farm down kind of deal. So in this case, Drapion, we're running Poison Sting. This is the only one where the moveset is... Actually, I'll explain all the movesets. We've got Aqua Tail and Crunch. We don't need Sludge Bomb here as much as you would in a normal league. There's no Azu or anything like that. Most of the fairies, yeah, there's my dentist calling, just ignore them. But yeah, mostly fairies are charmers in this league, and Drapion switching into them is enough to force them to switch out most of the time. In the case they don't switch out, Aqua Tail spam with a super effective Poison Sting is generally enough to take them down as well, kind of regardless of shield scenarios here. So Sludge Bomb, not really that important, so you can get away with it. Aqua Tail, the reason to use it, great against Probopass, great against Machamp, great against Ninetales, and great against the Drapion mirror, and Drapion is probably the one of the most common Pokemon in Remix Cup, so I wouldn't be using it really as a bait move. I'm not really baiting. I don't think I bait a single time with Aqua Tail in this entire video. It's just there if you need it, if it's super effective, or if Crunch is resisted. And then we got Magnet Bomb on Probopass. Rock Slide is still the better move than Magnet Bomb, but Thunderbolt doesn't really have a lot of play. A lot of the water types are also ice types or ground types, so Thunderbolt's kind of useless. In this case, we have a Wigglytuff switch in, and this is kind of where Magnet Bomb starts to pay off. The other uses are when Rock Slide is resisted and Magnet Bomb is not. It's a much more consistent move to use than Thunderbolt, which you have to charge up a lot more, and Thunderbolt is not very efficient in terms of damage per energy. Doesn't get the same type of attack bonus. In this case, with the Wigglytuff, you just have to hit it with a Magnet Bomb once, and you can farm all the way down. This is fantastic because it'll also leave your Probopass low enough that they can't farm you down. So in this case, the Machamp comes in. If they don't sneak the move, you get 2 moves off here, which is great. If they do, that's too bad. You only get 1 move off, but they don't get farm, so it's a pretty good trade-off here. This means you'll be able to win the race to a move. I knew this was a cross chop. I shielded anyways because I just wasn't sure if they had somehow got some invisible moves in or something like that. That's just the state of the game. Even if you're counting, if your opponent makes a weird play, it's hard to call them on it. In comes Froslass. Instead of swapping right away, I'm going to throw the Seed Bomb here. I probably should have just swapped right away to save this Trevenant for Machamp, but with shields down, it's not too big of a deal. I don't mind spending a shield on my Drapion here. Wasn't even planning on spending a shield on the Drapion. Avalanche does not KO, and Drapion is just going to be able to take down this Machamp as well. No problem. Yeah, so like you saw Probopass in this game, it took a very advantageous matchup and converted it into switch and shield advantage because they had to shield the Magnet Bomb as well. And it could have even taken a 2 shield advantage out of that swap in. So Froslass, this is an interesting lead. All Pokemon on this team are pretty good against it. I'm going to go straight for the Seed Bomb and then try and catch a move on the Drapion. I think that's a good play here. The free shield and the extra energy are too good to pass up. In comes Whiscash. This is probably the most common switch in to Drapion. And what you can do here is just throw Crunches. And if you just throw right away, people think you're being predictable. And if they're actually counting, if you're playing at a rating where your opponents are likely counting moves, well, I guess what? Whiscash can get kind of greedy. Kind of greedy in these situations. They're thinking, okay, 5 to the next Crunch. But guess what? It's not 5 until Aqua Tail. So if they aren't counting, you can get that off. This player, I think, was counting and was aware of Aqua Tail, so I wasn't able to get it off. But because they threw that next move, they're not going to be able to make it to a Blizzard. So make sure you count your moves, though, because they're, I think, 1 off here. And then they come in with Quagsire. So they actually had this game in the bag, but my opponent decides to make a switch here into Quagsire. And this is actually going to give me the win here. Yeah. Because if they just let their Whiscash go down, come back in with their lead, and then just have that Quagsire for Probopass later, it's a much tougher game for me. I still have shield advantage, so I can still play around with all of that, but it is a much tougher win. Diggersby lead. This is the worst lead for this team. You don't see a lot of Diggersby in Remix just because it's XL and also kind of underwhelming in general. What I like to do is try and prevent them from sneaking a move and sneaking a move in. If you don't, then it's a very tough lead. If you can, then you can kind of take shields here. So I already took shield advantage. I'm going to let one through regardless. And for some reason, my opponent actually throws the Earthquake here, which actually gives me a win con. So I'm going to shield because I snuck my move through and just go for Seed Bombs. If they don't, so this is not normal play. If you don't sneak a move through, it's not worth shielding more than once. Shielding once will allow you to get back on the same pace, but if you shield more than once, they're going to outpace you again because you get to Seed Bombs every 5. They get to Fire Punch after 5 and then 4 on the second one. So they do outpace you. If you get a move through and they don't, then you can play that differently because you win CMP. So in this case, they threw Earthquake, so I'm going to be able to catch this final Fire Punch on my Drapion and farm down and get a little bit of an advantage on the Drapion here. Unfortunately, they've got a Registeel in the back as well. This is a little bit tough now because I caught that Fire Punch. I'm just outside of Flash Cannon range. And yeah, this Flash Cannon is going to put me in lock on farm down range, which is an extremely scary situation to be when you're up against a Registeel. In this case, I try and go for the crunch. Oh, what a mistake. I should just cut my losses and went for the Aqua Tail. Really looks like I could get there, but I couldn't. And unfortunately, because this Registeel has a lot of farm, I'm gonna have to come in and try and catch a move, mistime it, and Registeel is gonna be able to take down Trevenant. But it's okay because I know Probopass should be able to outpace to a move. Unfortunately, it's barely an outpace, and Rock Slide is not enough to KO from there. So Registeel, very hard Probopass counter. But luckily, it usually is the Pokemon that comes into Drapion. So I do misplay a little bit here. If I get that Aqua Tail off, it really depends what they have in the back. I think that game is very winnable. Especially if Registeel was their better Drapion answer. It's good potential that there's something in the back Probopass destroys. Noctowl lead. This is maybe the worst Pokemon for Trevenant to run into. They farm up quite a bit, and I'm farming up too. I really didn't want to throw moves until they swapped out because I want that huge energy advantage for whatever comes in because I want to be able to win back switch here. In this case, they don't even throw their move, so they banked a bunch of energy. And Quagsire comes in. They shield the first move. It's a crunch. And because of the defense drop, I'm able to just keep crunching. And now my crunches will essentially, with the extra poison stings, two-shot this Quagsire. So they keep going. And at this point, I outpace them too. And with the, I believe, 5 poison sting energy advantage, I would be able to win this, I think, with as long as I spend 2 shields. So I shield up the Earthquake, I win switch, and they leave the game. And it makes sense, Probopass, hard counter against Noctowl, as long as my Trevenant had even a decent matchup against whatever's in the back. That's an easy win, and we're going to grab 4 wins here in the first set, up to rank 12. I mean, ranks are really based on wins right now, so I don't know why I said that like it was like an achievement or something like that. Toxicroak lead, this is a great lead, and they come in with Noctowl, so at this point I'm kind of thinking it's probably Pidgeot. You don't really switch in Noctowl unless there's some cheesy ABB type team. And I feel like even then, you probably should switch Pidgeot. But who am I to judge? I'm just going to go for the Rock Slide here. I undercharge a little bit because in this case, I actually want this Noctowl to throw a Sky Attack at me afterwards. So Shadow Ball, Sky Attack gets you within 1 counter down range. And even though I knew this, and I knew they might switch here, I still didn't throw my move when they, or I tried to throw my move when they switched, but did not register. I guess I just wasn't fast enough. In this case, I'm gonna go for straight for the Shadow Ball here. See what happens. Toxicroak down, they're saving shields for, yep, we guessed it, Pidgeot in the back. And Pidgeot with 2 shields is honestly kind of scary. I have to save my Trevenant there because I'm going to have to clear those debuffs later. But the goal here is to get these crunches off. I probably could have even baited with Aqua Tail. This is the only time I would have baited with Aqua Tail is versus Pidgeot in the 2 shield when it's really their only Pokemon left. There's no reason for them not to shield these first ones, these first 2, when they know they're getting the Feather Dance debuff off. Whereas generally people don't like shielding Drapion at the beginning because they're scared of the crunch debuff. Pidgeot completely counteracts that. So you can see how little damage those crunches do. I unfortunately have to shield my Drapion again. And we're going to farm up to a crunch and swap out. They actually swap in the Noctowl to try and snipe there. Or maybe catch a move. But instead, I'm swapping out with my crunch. I just want to get the Seed Bomb off on the Pidgeot because I know it's going to farm me down. But Trevenant is just a little bit too powerful. And it's going to be able to claw down that Pidgeot. It would have come down into a CMP tie. I am personally not sure whether Drapion or Pidgeot wins CMP. So glad I did not have to find out there. Alright, Drapion lead, also a terrible lead. We're going to go in with Drapion. Our Drapion has a great Drapion matchup because it has Aqua Tail instead of Sludge Bombs. You can just throw those neutral Aqua Tails and resist all their moves. Instead, in comes Surfetch. Somehow these fighters aren't shielding, even if you build up to Sludge Bomb. And I did build up to Sludge Bomb there. But they'll shield the second Aqua Tail. And then Surfetch specifically doesn't really have moves that threaten Drapion without self-debuffing. And most of the time, they're just running Night Slash and Leaf Blade anyways, so we're going to let through those Night Slashes and Leaf Blades. Unfortunately, can't quite make it to the next Aqua Tail. If they swapped a little bit slower, I think, as possible, and you can grab 2 shield advantage there. Instead, you're going to be able to come in with Trevenant and farm down. Night Slash will deal a lot of damage, yes, but your Trevenant is kind of stuck in this really bad matchup, and they actually swap out, which gives me switch advantage back. Drapion, not a great matchup versus Probo, but it's not that bad either. I think people think it's much worse just because of how bad it is versus Bastion and G-Fisk. But Probo, obviously, 2 shots, and Drapion does not, which gives Probo the very distinct advantage here in the 1 shield. Don't have to shield those first crunches. I get a little bit greedy, trying to farm up a bit more, but I don't mind shielding a crunch here and getting to farm even more, ending this with an extra move against whatever's in the back. I'm not quite sure yet. But I know Surfetch is coming back in, so I've got to switch right away to preserve the HP. And by I know, I mean I thought. But that was not the case. In comes Greedent. And this is very annoying to see. I don't shield this because I know it's a Body Slam. I'm still going to be able to get to that next move. But now I'm in farm down range for this Greedent. And I won't be able to get to another Seed Bomb. So it looks pretty bad right now. If they just throw Crunch, I think I've lost. So I have to call their bait here. If they bait me with Body Slam, I think I have a chance. So Body Slam bait goes through. I'm kind of low now. And I'm just hoping that, yeah, I can take that Surfetch out in 1 more Spark. They come back in with their Greedent. But that Spark took me to the next Rock Slide. So we're going to be able to win this game. Kind of pull the victory from the jaws of defeat. And take out that creepy smiling squirrel. That honestly looks like it has no business being like an actual Pokemon, but it's a funny looking one, that's for sure. But yeah, that's a lesson in not baiting. Alright, Snorlax lead, obviously another bad one. We're going to hop out to Drapion here, and in comes Politoed. This matchup is nowhere near as bad as I thought it was. So, let those crunches fly, and it's a 2-shot. And is Weather Ball a 2-shot? No. So, I'm going to go up and throw right away because I know I'm going to CMP tie their Weather Ball again if I do this, since they seem to be throwing right away. I'm going to grab the shield with Crunch. And no shield here. And I'm going to go for the Aqua Tail. Oh no, I'm going to go for the Crunch because I was trying to avoid their full farm down. And I'd be able to pressure another shield. But instead they throw instead, which is fine. This means Trevenant should be able to get a full farm down. If you were counting along, they're only at 7 Mud Shots, which is not a Blizzard. So Earthquake thrown, and it's completely fine. Trevenant gets the farm down. In comes Snorlax. I'm just trying to get some damage. Snorlax is kind of scary for Probo with an energy advantage too, so getting these Seed Bombs off is not that bad of an idea. I think also swapping right away could have been another valid strategy here. I was just scared I might put myself in another farm down situation. But in the back hiding is in a Abomasnow. Once again, another team where Probopass kind of beats 2/3 of the team. Just people aren't accounting for it. And this one is a spicy one. This is a Razor Leaf Abomasnow. And honestly, Razor Leaf Abomasnow is really giving them a chance to win here. I shield that up knowing it's a Weather Ball. Just realizing that these shields have nowhere else to go. I'm going to have to shield once against this Snorlax, I'm sure. But as long as I can get this Rock Slide off, it's not too big of a deal. I try to catch a move on Trevenant, but ultimately fail. So I'm going to shield my Probopass here. And they're at 2 moves. So my Probopass is going to go down. It's all up to my Trevenant. See if it can get to a Seed Bomb here before they can lick me down. And that's a yes. Trevenant's going to get to that Seed Bomb. And it's going to KO the Snorlax. So going to take yet another win in this set with yet another bad lead. I believe is that 3 bad leads in a row. I want to say Noctowl, Drapion, Snorlax. And we have another Drapion. So we're going to swap into our own Drapion. I've said this before. Don't throw moves until they start throwing moves. If they're going to start throwing moves, then you can start throwing moves too. But you kind of don't want to get them into this spot where you're throwing moves, they bank a lot of energy and swap out into a Drapion counter. If they're going to swap out like this, make sure you have the energy ready to punish them for it. So in this case, Sludge Bomb would have been nice, and they somehow don't shield my Crunch, which is insane. Oh, I guess they saw Aqua Tail. But I'm going to go for the Aqua Tail, and they get I get a shield off the Sharpedo. Sharpedo is so squishy. I'm going to go back into Trevenant. They're going to throw a Poison Fang, which is fine. It's neutral against Trevenant. The Waterfalls don't do much, and my Trevenant is locked into a bad matchup. So there's 3 reasons not to shield there. I'm able to farm down the whole way, and in comes not the Drapion, which is not what I was expecting. But instead we get the Noctowl here. So I actually probably should have shielded this. I think Shadow Ball does a little bit more damage than Crunch, or it's at least comparable. And it's less bait dependent in case they are running Aqua Tail or something like that. So it's just a nice guaranteed shield damage there. I do shield this one, I think. Start getting these shields rolling. And they swap out into their Drapion, which is great for me because I was going to go over 100 energy farming that Noctowl down. Able to get these Rock Slides off. I tried to catch a move on Trevenant, but it just didn't accept my switch. That's okay. That's okay. Sometimes you get refunds, which are beneficial. Sometimes the game doesn't accept your charge move buttons. I'm going to do the combo play, swap into my Trevenant, and just throw the Seed Bomb out. And then Noctowl should go down to another Seed Bomb as well. Yeah, usually don't switch into the Pokemon that can get farmed down. In this case, I only go into Trevenant because their Noctowl is so low that I can threaten it with a Seed Bomb anyways. Otherwise, if you go in with Trevenant and it's like a full HP Noctowl, they're just going to farm you down. And you're going to lose the game because they're going to throw multiple Shadow Balls at your Probopass. And Dewgong lead another bad lead. Is this 5 in a row? So we're gonna get into Drapion right away. I throw the Crunch. I don't just store this energy against Dewgong because I want to get it in there before the debuff if they chose to throw Icy Wind. So in this case, Diggersby comes in, and honestly, not a bad situation for me. Diggersby beats the whole team, and the Pokemon it probably beats the least is Drapion. So if I can get this Diggersby pretty low, I'm happy with that. They've bait with the Fire Punch, which is fine. Because now I know they have to throw another Fire Punch to take me out. They don't want to shield. And looks like they still will have to shield. They want to save their Diggersby, which they do, of course. So my better Diggersby answer is Trevenant here, unfortunately. But Trevenant is locked into that Dewgong matchup. I can't let my Trevenant go down because I'll need to clear debuffs. But I can let my Trevenant get low. It doesn't really need HP at this point. So we're going to save shields for Probopass. In comes Probopass to tank the Icy Wind. Ideally, you don't like to catch moves that debuff, but when shields are as precious as they are, I feel like it's worth it. They are building up a lot, which makes me a little bit nervous. They went past the Icy Wind because Icy Wind's just 4 on their second go. And at this point, I don't know, I actually know the counts for Water Pulse, but it feels like a Water Pulse. Gonna shield that up. And in comes a Charmer. So good thing we shielded that. Otherwise, Shadow Ground Ball would have absolutely ripped through this whole team. So I'll throw the Magnet Bomb off. It's no shield. And this should be an easy farm down for Probopass. And they realize that they're not Gonna get to 2 moves there. And I think that was a 5. Was that a 5-0 with all 5 lead losses? I'm not sure about the game 1 of this set. I wasn't really paying that much attention. But I know the last 4 were all lead losses, so being able to flip those around is great. Another lead loss here. Pidgeot. This is at least 5 or 6 lead losses in a row now. Gonna go into Drapion once again, throw right away because it's a debuffing Pokemon. In this case, it's tough. I know shield because most Pidgeots just Feather Dance. And then I lag an absolute ton here. Oh god, what a disaster this game is sometimes. But then, because of the lag, I'm not able to throw my moves at this Greedent. They're gonna get a Body Slam off, which I can't afford to shield. And I don't really have an answer to this Greedent on the board. They're going to get to a move, which is who knows what it is because we lagged. And it's a crunch. So that's unfortunate. If only this Greedent were like at 50% of its HP instead. Gonna no shield this one too, because it's my only win con. Is saving shields for Probopass at this point. Gonna grab. Yeah, I don't remember that at all. They swapped to catch that somehow. On their Pidgeot. Gonna no shield this. They Brave Bird, which is great. So it gave me some hope of farming all the way down, but I can't quite get it done. And because of that, they're gonna be able to debuff me. I was a bit scared of the debuffs there. So sitting at 100 energy now. Gonna throw a Rock Slide into this Greedent. Just trying to stall the clock. And just keep throwing them. Just trying to stall the clock. It kind of sucks throwing these debuffed Rock Slides, but still gonna grab a shield. And gonna try and catch a move, of course, on this Greedent. Didn't work out, but Trevenant is just a shield to me at this point. Gonna shield once on the Greedent. Crunch can deal quite a bit, and unfortunately, they get the defense drop. And out comes the Registeel at the back, so yeah. Unfortunate. I don't know why they kept that hidden so long. I would have just top lefted had they come out with that earlier. But yeah, if I had gotten a crunch off against the Greedent, it might be a different story. I might have felt more comfortable going in with the Probopass instead of the Trevenant. And then Trevenant versus Registeel is decent. So we win a lead, Toxicroak lead into Drapion. And instead of countering with our own Drapion, I'm going to go in with Probopass. This matchup is a bit sketchier than I expected. Especially with, actually I don't think Shadow really moves the needle too much. Either way, for this, gonna get the Rock Slide off, and yeah, it's a 2-shot or a 1-shot and an easy farm down, so I don't mind no shielding the Drapion here. I don't get greedy this time though. We're just gonna throw Rock Slide right away. I was burned earlier in the Drapion matchup, thinking they had a little bit less energy than they did, and in comes Toxicroak, able to just take down my Drapion and Zweilous. So this is kind of tricky. Zweilous is a Pokemon that beats 2/3 of this team. And unfortunately, it's the 2/3 that are remaining. I shield up the Body Slam on Drapion. We gotta make them think that I've got Sludge Bomb. So I'm gonna go up to Sludge Bomb and bait with the Crunch, not the Aqua Tail. We're baiting with the Crunch. That's right. I think this is the first time in Pokemon Go history. No, that's not true. Ho-Oh. But we're baiting with the more expensive move. In this case, we get CMP tie, throw the Crunch, and they think it's a Sludge Bomb, of course, because it's the last move I have to throw. And we get the defense drop too, so kind of important here because this Shadow Ball is resisted, and even though it's resisted, it does deal a ton of damage. Yeah, almost taking out the Zweilous. Toxicroak comes back in. It's gonna get to a move, which is a Mud Bomb, and that's fine. I'm pretty sure it was at a Sludge Bomb, but the Zweilous, there's no way it's at a Dark Pulse. At best, it's at a Body Slam, and it's gonna come in with 1 HP. Trevenant's just gonna claw that thing right down. Feels really good being able to take out a Zweilous with the Trevenant because of a defense drop. But yeah, we had a very small win con. What is that, Doctor Strange code or something? Found the 1 win condition there at the end. All right, Ninetales lead, obviously not a good lead. In comes Whiscash. So let's see if this Whiscash player will get a little bit greedy on the farm. I've had it happen a couple times. I don't remember if it's any time in this video. We get the defense drop. Great. So they CMP, throw a Mud Bomb. I'd love if they threw Mud Bomb right away again. So I go to 5 and hope that they CMP tie me. That's the next best scenario. Oh, that's the best scenario, that they actually shield there. So I'm going to actually get to another move because they try and farm down here. It's the Aqua Tail. And I'm going to grab 2 shields. So generally people think Whiscash is a great answer for Drapion. But the reality is that Drapion can take shields no problem versus Whiscash. Sure, I have to give them up again, but I've farmed an entire Shadow Ball out of that exchange. So the only difference between this lead matchup, the original lead matchup, is that I've farmed an entire Shadow Ball. They actually come with a Politoed to try and make me throw the Seed Bomb and catch it. Very high level play by them, but I'm a dummy and didn't look at the top. I was just throwing Shadow Ball anyways. So because of my ignorance, actually it's going to pay off quite heavily here. I got to a Seed Bomb before switching out because I know that they're going to be able to farm down my Probopass afterwards. And if my Probopass can deal any sort of damage with energy to this Politoed, the Seed Bomb should be able to take it out. So these 2 Rock Slides, very important. My opponent's going to make the right play and farm all the way down. But unfortunately for them, I have also made the right play. So I'll have a Seed Bomb loaded and I'll be able to, unfortunately, crush their dreams here. They played super well. That was a very smart play at the end to try and catch that Seed Bomb. I'm always very impressed by those plays. I think I've only made them myself like a handful of times that I can remember. All right, Golbat lead. Gonna swap out right away. Once again, not a great lead, unsurprisingly. And in comes Hitmonchan. In this case, I build up to the Sludge Bomb and no shield. No one's shielding the Sludge Bombs. I can't believe it. Honestly, like, it feels like every Drapion except for this one is running Sludge Bomb and people still aren't shielding it. But I guess they expect Drapions to bait a bunch. So they throw out 5, which is Power Up Punch. And then they threw up... Yeah. Very interesting plays. This is going to allow me to grab shield advantage, where I otherwise wouldn't be able to. And then I should be able to farm down with the Trevenant. I'm counting their moves, so it looks like they were just at the Power Up Punch, and they just got the Ice Punch when they got taken out. So unfortunate for them. In Golbat, I'm going to stick around for a little bit. I want to get the Shadow Ball off. They're already down a shield, and hitting the Shadow Ball would deal a lot of damage, so they shield it. And I'm going to catch Poison Fang. Just make sure you're counting. Poison Fang's at 5 on the Probo. And then it all depends on what they have in the back, but it is a Hypno. So once again, a team with 2 Pokemon that just get absolutely walled by Probopass. Pretty common occurrence, it feels like. I'm just going to keep throwing rock slides here. They're not going to build up to the Focus Blast even, so not even a little bit scared. These Thunder Punches do hurt, but at the same time, shields on my Trevenant is the win con here. I can farm down the Hypno and land a big Shadow Ball on the Golbat. No issue if they continue to do this. So I actually will go into the Trevenant. I thought I could farm down, but a little bit off. Don't mind shielding here. And then Golbat is energy dry, so it shouldn't take too long for me to take this Golbat out. Actually, I'm already at the Shadow Ball, so 1 shield remaining. Probopass still remaining. Very comfortable win there. All right, I think this is the final game against Tonton Batus. And we have Dragonite lead. Obviously, not a great lead. Honestly, Drapion's not even a good switch here. Throw the Crunch right away because I want to get there before they get to their Dragon Claw, and I have to make a decision. Fortunately, they get to their Dragon Claw. I have to make a decision. I decide to shield so I can put pressure on this Dragonite because I outpace. But unfortunately, they actually catch a move. But fortunately for me, it is an Aqua Tail on their Muck. So, Poison Jab, Muck. Not the best Drapion answer, I'm not going to lie. So I'm just going to keep throwing these Aqua Tails. They did get Drapion low because they're going for that farm down so they can take out Trevenant with the Dark Pulse. Or at least threaten a shield. But I'm already a shield down. So this makes it very tough. They knew I was going to get to that Aqua Tail. They were counting very well. Take me out with an Acid Spray. And I come in with a Trevenant to try and farm down. Because I know my Probopass kind of has to be the MVP here. Unfortunately, I can't shield my Trevenant even though they're at a Dark Pulse, so I'm kind of hoping they're baiting. They're not. And Probopass kind of has to do everything by itself. In comes Ninetales, so it actually is possible. I just have to call the Overheat. So 3 Pokemon on this team that lose to Probopass. but because I waste a shield on Drapion, it's going to make it a lot harder than it could have been. I had 2 shields for Probopass. Honestly, this is just a pretty easy game. If I led Probopass and just didn't have 2 other Pokemon and I had 2 shields, I might be able to win this game. But because I wasted some shields, great bait here by my opponent into an overheat, and yeah, it does a lot of damage coming from Shadow Ninetales. Probopass is not able to survive that onslaught at all. Either way, another positive set. I think that was my 5th positive set in a row with this team. I only showed you guys 3 of them, but it's really working for me ever since my first set. Honestly, Probopass, like, Bastion is so dominant in Great League, and then the only reason Probopass isn't used is because Probopass has the same typing, but is just slightly worse than Bastion. So, in these leagues where Bastion is banned, it's like a non-XL Bastion, or even less than that, extra small Bastion. Either way, this team is a lot of fun. I'm glad I finally got to use Trev in the way I wanted to use it, in terms of like an anti-fighting Pokemon. I think it fills that role really well when Scrafty and Obscune aren't banned. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this kind of video, and thank you all for watching.